Good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Toya Singh. On this show, we look at the day's top stories through the lens of just the facts. For our first story, we're looking at comments made by the Chief Minister, Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Now, these are comments that through the days you may have seen on the channel are causing waves. In an interview with ANI, Adityanath had said, and I'm going to quote here, Gyanvapi can't be called as a mosque and that the Muslim side should admit their historic mistake. Now, remember, this is an issue that courts are looking at as we speak, with the Allahabad High Court set to pronounce a verdict on a petition filed by the Masjid committee in this very case in just 3 days from now. We'll take a deeper dive in just a few minutes into the context of this case, the history behind it. But today, in our debate, we're focusing on a single question. Coming just before the 2024 national elections, how should we look at the Chief Minister's comments? Appropriate or, as the opposition says, an overreach? All right, let's take a quick look first at what exactly it is that the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister had to say. Number one, he said that it was incorrect to call Gyanvapi a mosque. Number two, he said that a Jyotirling, a Trishul, a number of other symbols were all found inside Gyanvapi. Number four, he's also said that the walls of Gyanvapi are screaming and saying something. He said the Muslim side should accept that this was a historic mistake. That's the quote that we started with. He's also said the Muslim side should also propose a solution on this. Now let's take a look at what's happening in court and a bit of the historic timeline around this entire issue. This is an issue that first came to courts back in 1991, but more recent developments actually started around 2019. Now, earlier this year, a Varanasi court on July 21st ordered an ASI survey, an Architecture Survey of India survey, on the Gyanvapi. Now, the court ordered that first the scientific survey needs to be finished. They had set a date of August 4th for that. So that the Muslim side, the petitioners, had challenged the order, first at the Supreme Court, then at the Allahabad High Court. Remember, we said that the Allahabad High Court will pronounce its verdict in just a few days from now. We started by telling you that. That is due on August 3rd. Meanwhile, the Allahabad High Court extended the stay on the ASI survey till the verdict was announced. So that is the backdrop. But with that historic backdrop, we are still looking at our central question. The Chief Minister's big remark, the Chief Minister of India's most populous state making this statement, is it appropriate or an overreach? Let's take a look. This is Plain Speak.
अगर हम उसको मस्जिद कहेंगे तो फिर विवाद होगा। मुझे लगता है कि भगवान ने जिसको दृष्टि दी है वो देखे ना, त्रिशूल मस्जिद के अंदर क्या करता है, हमने तो नहीं रखे ना। ज्योतिर्लिंग है, देव प्रतिमाएं हैं, पूरी दीवारें चिल्ला चिल्ला के क्या कह रही है। और मुझे लगता है कि ये प्रस्ताव मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से आना चाहिए कि साहब ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है और उस गलती के लिए हम चाहते हैं समाधान।
योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने बहुत ही सच्ची और सही बात कही है और सही बात कहने के लिए बड़ा जज्बा चाहिए।
जो पूरा खसरा नंबर 9130 है वो हमारे हिंदू मंदिर का परिसर है। ऐतिहासिक गलती हुई है अंजुमन इंतजामिया से तो वो मान लें।
आप मुख्यमंत्री है, कानून को फॉलो करिए। आप कानून को फॉलो नहीं करना चाह रहे, वो मुसलमानों पर प्रेशर डालना चाह रहे, दबाव डालना चाह रहे हैं।
मुसलमानों से कोई गलती नहीं हुई, उसको इन्होंने जबरदस्ती उसको हिंदू मंदिर कहना शुरू कर दिया।
All right, let's take a deeper dive into this entire issue. We have two guests who are with us to start out. We'll have more guests joining us later in the show. But first, let's start out with the two guests we have with us. Dr. Kaushal Kant is with us. He is a spokesperson for the UP BJP. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us. Now, we also have with us Atikur Rahman. He's an Islamic scholar. He's also with us this evening. We're going to come over to both of you to understand in more depth what your perspective is on this issue. Dr. Kaushal Kant, I want to start with you first, sir. After Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister, made this comment, the opposition reaction came in. And their reaction has been clear. You've had the contention made that in stating this, the Chief Minister has commented on an issue that is sub judice. It's just not done. Doctor, I want to ask you, when you look at the numbers, the Chief Minister became Chief Minister in 2017. He last commented on Gyanvapi in 2015. So when the opposition says he's not commented this far, why is he commenting now? To that, sir, what does the BJP have to say?
It's all about personal faith. If I have got faith in something, it's my right to say anything. But what he said in Sanskrit we call prataksham kim pramanam, means everything, whatever is displayed on the walls of so-called Gyanvapi Masjid or truly the mandir is Trishul, idols, lotus, swastik, all are the Hindu symbols. It has been exposed. If you go, previously there was no barricade. If there was no barricade, if you see from the behind, you will see the whole wall is mounted with all the Hindu scriptures and architect. So whatever he said, it is true. I don't think there is any problem, and history is saying, all the archaeological evidences are saying, and now the matter is in the court, where the Muslim side is opposing, Masjid committee is opposing. Why to go for scientific analysis? If they feels that if it is a masjid according to them, according to their faith, what is harm in going for test?
Okay.
That's what we call Prataksham Kim Pramanam.
Doctor, I'm not questioning, one second. Doctor, the answer that you're giving me is an answer in which you're talking about what it is that the Chief Minister had to say. That was not my question, sir. I'm trying to ask you, why now? 2015 say to today, he's not made a comment. Why now? The timing is what's being questioned, sir. We'll get to the content in a second. First tell me that.
I answered the first question in first line, that it is my faith. When I want to go for puja, when I want to go for worship, when I want to go for mandir, it's my faith. By the time he was not thinking, now he thinks that it is the right time to say, so he said it. It's about faith. It's not about who is saying, it's about my faith. He is first Indian, then he is a Hindu, then he is a CM. So he has full right to say that.
All right, sir, stay with us. I just want to introduce to our audiences the two guests who've just joined us. We have Tausif Khan, he's an analyst, and Dr. Geeta Bhatt, she's a political analyst who's with us. Dr. Geeta Bhatt, I'm actually going to come over to you with the next question. We heard what Dr. Kaushal had to say. He said it's a matter of faith, that's why the Chief Minister has chosen to speak. But the opposition doesn't seem to believe so. In the answers we've seen coming in through the day today, the key thing that's been pointed out is the timing, the fact that elections are just around the corner. Doctor, how do you look at this? What's your expert perspective?
Well, Toya, I think what matters is that what he has said, how much fact is there in that. And I think, you see, time and again, there are innumerable such evidences, such historical evidences are there, historical facts are there, which very clearly point out that it was basically the Vishweshwar temple, which was demolished in 1669 by Aurangzeb, partially demolished, and using that rubble only, structure was created, which is called as the Gyanvapi Mosque. Also, in the name itself, it is very clear. Gyanvapi, how can a mosque? Vapi is basically well in Sanskrit, so it is a sacred well of knowledge. So the name, 3.5 centuries have passed since around that time that, when this demolition took place. And no one ever thought of even changing the name, because the roots of that place, they very much are the part of the Vishweshwar temple. It is very much evident, Toya, if you have visited that place, each
Dr.
one
Bhatt,
of us who has visited it can very clearly...
One second, Doctor, if I too were to ask you again to comment on the timing and the fact that this is a matter that is sub judice. You are not typically supposed to comment on something courts are looking at. To that, Doctor, what would you say?
See, the matter is sub judice, but please also remember that when the women plaintiffs who had put up their request asking that they would like to go and do the prayers inside the outer boundary of the so-called mosque of the of Hanumanji, Ganeshji, and of Shringar Gauri, at that time it has been very much submitted that till 1993 there were already these kind of prayers were being done every day. 93, 94. It was only in 1991 when the Places of Worship Act came. And after that, the government of the day at that time, which was led by Mr. Mulayam Singh, they were the one who decided and stopped it and decided, very whimsically that only once in a year that people will be allowed. I think under Article 25, this is, even if it is a matter which is sub judice, under Article 25, just like other minorities, even Hindus have a right, to worship their deities as in where they are
Doctor, I'm not
placed.
debating that right, and I'd like to clarify that to Dr. Kaushal too. I'm not getting into the meat of the matter. That is for a court to decide. Ma'am, I'm asking simply about the timing. I'm gonna ask you to wait for a second. I do want to bring in Atikur Rahman. He's an Islamic scholar. He's been waiting with us. Tausif, I'm going to come to you in a second too. Do keep with us for just a second. Let me go over first to Mr. Rahman to understand his perspective. Sir, what was your reaction to the comment that came in from the Chief Minister earlier today, especially when he said that, because his comment, the comment that he's made about the Muslim side, as he's called it, so that indicates that he wants the Muslim side almost to take proactive action in this case before the court has to say anything. He's almost said they should take action. So to that, what is your perspective?
Well, I think, this is the first time that the Chief Minister and a minister under oath is coming into the controversy of the Gyanvapi. So far, only the fringes were speaking. So it's a welcome step if he is calling for the Muslim side to take some steps. And being the Chief Minister, why don't he call the Intizamiya Committee of the Gyanvapi and talk to them? Second important aspect over here is, the BJP and the RSS, they have fought a very, very long and tedious battle for the Ayodhya Ram Mandir in the courts, outside also with the Rath Yatra of Mr. Advani. I don't understand that why they do not club all these matters of their faith, as Dr. Kaushal pointed out. If faith is so important, not the law of the land, sir, then you should club all these matters. The Hindus and Muslims of India want to stay and live in peace. As per the Supreme Court, their observations and their decrees related in the Ayodhya matter, they too pointed out that the law is not the answer to go into the history and correction of what was wrong in the history. So why the under oath Chief Minister and the under oath, governments are, putting their heads into a sub judice matter, and they were silent. They were silent since 1947. They were silent since 1991. They were silent all these years. And very important point is, today, the RSS chief has said that, no, we are not into this controversy of the Gyanvapi. We will be fighting the thing into the courts, on the floor of the courts. So why are the people making, in this shroud of, secrecy by the Hindutva elements? I don't understand. As you rightly pointed out, they will make it an election issue in the days to come.
Okay. Mr. Rahman, just stay with us. I want to go over to our fourth guest. Tausif Ahmed remains with us. He's a lawyer and a political analyst. Sir, you've stayed with us through the last three discussion points. I want to understand, sir, first, what is your perspective on this issue and on the fact that the Chief Minister made his comment when he made it? Then we'll come to you with further questions.
You see, the Chief Minister comment is that the Muslim side should correct the historical wrong. Now, on this very notion, this perceived historical wrong and the correction of it, the Places of Worship Act was passed by Parliament, which clearly said that the status of the places of worship would remain as it was in 15th August 1947. And the motto behind that, the idea behind that was that all the existing proceedings will stay in abeyance and no new claim will be entertained. So it was, and only the Ayodhya dispute was kept outside the purview of that act. Now that paved the way for both parties to come to a settlement. Now, since the Supreme Court heard this matter, since the Allahabad High Court is hearing this matter, so it was completely uncalled for by the Chief Minister of the state to make such a statement. If he is making this statement, then obviously he is transgressing into the judicial domain. Rather, he should stay away, stay out of it, especially since he has not spoken about it from 2015 onwards. Now we all can understand the compulsion for him to make this statement can only be political, given the fact that 2024 elections are not very far away, and given the fact that Manipur has taken the incidents of horrific incidents of violence in Manipur has pushed BJP into the backseat. Now the BJP leaders would somehow want to come up with one or the other issue and make political statement to sweep the public opinion away, to divert their attention from the real issues that country is facing. Because it is, after all, the law and order situation of Manipur holds the Home Minister directly responsible, the BJP's Chief Minister of the state directly responsible, and the Prime Minister who has not spoken on Manipur violence as much as he should speak. Even in the Supreme Court, the observation today, when the central government lawyer tried to justify the violence in Manipur by saying that the similar incident had occurred in other states, Supreme Court did not buy that argument.
Okay.
So the BJP has to be made accountable for what is happening in Manipur. And one easy way to get out of it and to make a political pitch for themselves for the 2024 election is to raise an issue on Gyanvapi, and it is unfortunate because it is sub judice matter pending before the court. On August 3rd, High Court of Allahabad will pronounce its judgment.
Okay.
What is the need for the Chief Minister to come out and make public statement?
Tawseef, can I actually stay with us? Thank you for making that point and bringing up that issue. I do want to go back, though, however, to the BJP representative who's with us on the show right now, because we are talking about a BJP Chief Minister. So hopefully Dr. Kaushal will be able to shed more light on the motivation. Doctor, I want to ask you, one of the reactions that came in earlier today to what the Chief Minister had to say was from the AIMIM's Asaduddin Owaisi, someone we know who has been very vociferous in the past too, to his opposition and his opinions on this issue. Sir, in his response, he raised an interesting point that the Samajwadi Party has raised before also. He said, what about, and sir, you probably know this point because it's come up before in political debate. He said, what about the structures that were of a different nature in other areas? And he talked about Badrinath. He said, what about Buddhist structures that were made into Hindu structures and vice versa? Will all structures around the country start being questioned now? Sir, Mr. Owaisi's point, I think, was just how large are you going to make the ambit? Where are you going to end this question? So to that, what is the BJP's answer?
I think Asaduddin Owaisi is famous for his own ideology, and he is totally communal. He is the leader of same party who says that 24 घंटे के लिए पुलिस हटा दी जाए. They are like that. So I cannot answer them because they are always focused on only one thing, that is Muslim. Here the notion of whole country is there, and our CM is saying they have given their opinion and they have said that if the Muslims are ready, if the other community is ready, both the community come and sit together and decide the issue instead of going to fight. So that is, I think, a better and welcome step. And everybody should think about that. All the controversies should be resolved by talking. Okay. And Mr. Tawseef is saying about the judiciary under the pressure. It is the same Allahabad High Court because of whom the Indira Gandhi has to bring the emergency. So our judiciary in our democratic system is so strong. Our judiciary is very strong. If they will find anything illegal, unconstitutional, they will strike it down. And right now the court is also ready, and now the scientific analysis is going for that structure. Why the Masjid committee is opposing, why the Muslim Paksh is opposing for the scientific analysis, without destroying, without anything. If we are going to the fact, what is the real fact, and if that can be corrected, I don't think there is any issue. Okay. And my friend was saying about historical injustices. Just let me finish in 10 seconds. Historical injustice. Because of historical injustices, our constitution is giving the social justice by providing reservation for historical injustices. In the same way, if that historical justice is compensated by our constitution, in my opinion, our constitution is a very dynamic constitution. It is a live document. It's totally depending on what the democracy wants, and whatever the democracy wants, our constitution is capable enough to deliver that thing. I think that is totally purely on the basis of basic structure of our constitution. I don't think there is illegal, and even if judiciary feels something is wrong, they will come up with a strong statement, as they come with the late Srimati ji, Indira Gandhi ji.
Okay. Doctor, I'll ask you to stay with us. Let's go back to political analyst and Islamic scholar Atiq-ur-Rahman, who remains with us. Mr. Rahman, sir, I want to ask you the same question that we've just heard the BJP put forth over here. We know already that the Muslim litigants in this entire case are going to be going forward protesting against the scientific survey. What reason can they give on record for doing that, sir?
No, please repeat your question. What reason regarding the scientific survey you are saying?
For saying that they don't want the survey to take place, sir.
Exactly. You see, the Muslim side, the Intizamiya Masjid committee is relying only on the fact of the 1991 Places of Worship Act, opposing the scientific survey, because the moment you dig, the moment you excavate, the moment you go deep into this controversy, it will be changing the character of the masjid. And change of character of the masjid is in violation of the 1991 Places of Worship Act. The simple proposition what the experts say is the government of India, which is a pro-Hindutva government, why are they playing this shroud on the people of India by not repealing or amending the 1991 Places of Worship Act, which is already pending in the Parliament and the Supreme Court?
Okay.
You know, the easy way out, they are, skipping that particular easy way out, and they are putting the Hindus and Muslims into this imbroglio, which they will be utilizing for the election purposes.
Okay, all right.
For their vote banks, for consolidation of the Hindutvaadi.
Mr. Rahman, just stay with us. I want to go over to Dr. Geeta Bhatt to take to her exactly this question. Mr. Rahman's answer, Doctor, you heard it, but Mr. Rahman's answer essentially says, stop focusing on anything else, focus on the act, change the act if you want to have a larger change. And ma'am, to some degree, it's easy to see the perspective he's coming from. Dr. Bhatt, what do you think about this answer?
Well,
this perspective?
You see, the Places of Worship Act 1991 has already been challenged, and the Supreme Court was supposed, there are certain provisions which have been challenged in it, and it is already in July the hearings were supposed to take place. Maybe the dates have been further moved. But the point is that yes, for this, the places of worship, the changes, they must be brought into that. But along with it, another question arises, and that is that why is it that the Anjuman committee of the Gyanvapi Mosque, why is it that they are so fearful of the fact that one scientific investigation of the place is going to be done? Because this is, you see, till 1992, 1993, there are a large number of people who have gone inside the premises, and very well from their naked eyes they can see that there are, figures of goddesses and gods which are there on the rubbles from which the walls have been made. At least if nothing else, are they in a position or that they can at least accept that a wrongdoing has been had happened in 1669, and it is a demolished structure of the temple from which the mosque has been constructed? At least that much they can come forward. See, it is a matter, I think Yogi Adityanath has actually talked about that they need to come out. Please allow me to speak.
No, I want to come to you with a counter question. When the Islamic scholar who's with us right now, Mr. Rahman, is saying, he's not opposing what you're saying. He's saying target the act first, then make these changes. To that, doctor, what do you have to say?
You see, already there is there are certain ladies who have gone to the court and have asked that they may be allowed. What was their simple plea? Their simple plea was that they should be allowed to do the puja inside the, within the outer walls of the mosque, as they have been doing earlier till 93-94. Now, had the committee, if it was not challenged that they should, and if the Anjuman committee had not gone and challenged it, It could have been just that they had simply gone and asked that they should be allowed to pray just that the way they were doing it till 92-93. So the question is, why a counter question is not being asked, that why is it that they are scared and they are not allowing these ladies, whosoever wants to go and do the prayers inside? Because see, this is an open secret. Toya, this is an open secret that this was a part of the temple till 1669, till it was demolished by the on the orders of Aurangzeb. It is very much historically documented.
All right. Doctor, I think we've wandered away though from the question I was asking. Let me first go to the analyst that we have with us because we haven't gone to him in a while now. Dr. Tausif Khan, we're going to come to you. This might be the last question of the panel. We might have time to go to our other guests. There was a utopian idea suggested in between this discussion, both by Dr. Bhatt and also a little earlier by Atiq-ur-Rahman. They both actually suggested the same thing. They said, why can't both sides come together and have a discussion? And I thought it was quite an interesting point because they were saying the same thing. Could you tell us, Tausif Khan, what do you think needs to take place for two sides to come together, for a conversation to actually take place? Sir, if you're able to give me a short enough answer, I'd also like to go to the BJP after. So do try to, sir, give me an answer.
See, there are two aspects. One is mediation. Court may always direct that both parties should come sit and try and mediate, amicably settle the matter. That is what they're talking about. Secondly, I would like to address that the doctor raised that what are they scared of? The answer to that is very simple. You see, SP Samajwadi Party leader Maurya made a claim that Badrinath and Kedarnath were
we talked about that.
Buddhist religious site. So today Buddhist monks comes and says that I want to do a survey of Badrinath and Kedarnath. Would you allow that, or would if anyone comes and says that why are you scared? Why don't you allow the survey? Would you allow that? No. Everything has to happen in accordance with the law. If the matter is sub judice before the court will have to pass an order. Even for the mediation that she's talking about, that both parties can come and sit and together, that's for the court to decide. If court passes a direction, both parties to sit together for a mediation, they will do that according to the directions of the court. Unless we don't have a rule of the law, unless we do not believe in that, unless we want to forcefully demolish the structure like it was demolished illegally, as the Supreme Court only court has said that it was demolished, Ayodhya temple mosque, Babri Mosque was demolished illegally. Also, there was no conclusive proof. ASI survey did not have a conclusive proof that the structure beneath the Ayodhya Mosque was a Hindu site.
No, it's very, very incorrect. I would like to object to it. It is all the submissions, thousands of pages of archaeological study that was done by the archaeologist B.B. Lal and his team. It was submitted, and there are proofs which very clearly show that there was a temple inside. Please, please don't belittle by making such false statements. Very clearly that temple-like structures are there and elaborate thousands of pages. The report which was submitted was in thousands of pages where every elaborate description was given of the study that was done. So please kindly don't make such statements that there was no such proof which was submitted in the court as far as
for the people to read the judgment and
excavation
whether the ASI report was conclusively accepted by the Supreme Court. It is all in writing. The judgment clearly states.
All right. Okay, I'd like to thank all of the guests that we've had join us over the last few minutes for providing their perspective. We tried to understand what a world would look like where the two sides came together and had that mediation process. Right now, it's time for a short break. On the other side of the break, we're actually focusing on a very different story. Months after the Darshan Solanki suicide case, IITB has asked students not to disclose their JEE ranks. But is this enough to put an end to the story around discrimination based on caste that is taking place in campuses around colleges in India? That's the question we're looking at. It's a very different question in just a few minutes on Plain Speak.